Hello everyone. We're going to talk today about the AU ROC metric, area under the receiver operating characteristics curve. Complicated sounding name, but it's a very nice way to measure the effectiveness of a binary decision making model. Whenever you're making binary decisions, this tells you how good your decision making mechanism is. Let's think of some examples of binary decisions. The probably the oldest one is fight or flight. You're under there's some threat. You either fight or you flight. This is probably hundreds of millions of years old. Uh, in the more modern world, you have medicine. You have a medical test that tells you whether or not you have a disease. The doctor tells you, a disease, yes or no. Military data from a radar tells you whether there is a plane in your airspace, yes or no. And this is actually where the ROC receiver operating characteristics part comes from. The ROC, is the receiver there is the radar. Making things even more modern, you have machine learning, where you can do binary classification, take a block of pixels, and you have to say whether there's a car in that block of pixels, yes or no. You have an email message, is it spam, yes or no? In statistics, you're making binary decisions a lot in the field of hypothesis testing. So you have a group of male penguins and some data on female penguins. Are the male penguins taller on average, yes or no? Is the rate at which vaccinated people visit the ICU or get seriously sick lower than the rate at which unvaccinated people get seriously sick, yes or no? Is the data generated from some real world process like penguins, for example? Does it follow some distribution? Does it follow a normal distribution? Yes or no? So you can see binary decisions are like all over the place and they're not going anywhere anytime soon. So when you're making these binary decisions, you can think of this confusion matrix, right? Where you have the P and N, which is positive and negative, and these are the right answers, right? When the right answer is positive, we say P, and then you have the model. When the model says yes, you call that rho, the Greek version of P, and then when the model says no, you call it eta. And then you can have these, four kinds of numbers. For each instance of your model saying something, you can say, did it say yes, and was it the right answer? That's a true positive. Did it say yes? Was it the wrong answer? That's a false positive because the right answer was no. And similarly, you have false negative and true negative. Now, this is a matrix of counts, but we want to convert it into a matrix of rates, right? And we can do that two ways. First, we can normalize across the rows. So true positive divided by true positive plus false negative gives you the true positive rate. Similarly, false negatives divided by true positive plus false negative gives you the false negative rate, and so on. And when you do this, observe that the columns the rows sum to 1. So the true positive rate and false negative rate sum to 1. The true positive rate and false positive rate don't sum to 1, which is what some people sometimes get confused about. You can also normalize across the rows. So true positive by true positive plus false positive, and this gives you these four other numbers, precision, etc. And also note that people are sometimes familiar with precision and recall. They sit in these two different ways of normalizing the matrix, right? The precision sits in this matrix when you normalize across the rows, and then the recall is actually the true negative rate. Now let's take a concrete example. Let's say you have some points, which is readings from your radar of the sky. And red means that there is a plane in the sky, so alarm should be blaring. And green means that there is no plane in the sky, everything is good, right? And these are just the way your radar plots the points. And now as a human, you want to create a model that tells you whether there's a plane in the sky, yes or no, because it's the Second World War period. You don't have computers, so you want to just create a model manually. So one a logical thing to do is to draw a straight line like this. And many real machine learning models actually do behave like this. They just draw a line, right, that separates the data the best way possible. And now you have a decision mechanism, right? Because you can say when you have when your radar puts a point on the top right of this line, you're going to say yes. If it puts it to the bottom left, you're going to say no. And then you can take this one step further and just think of the perpendicular distances from the point to the line, and with the direction. So if it's directed towards the bottom left, you say it's the positive direction. If it's directed to the top right, you say negative direction. and and then you can make a decision that way based on the sign of the point. And then you can think of plotting these perpendicular distances in two histograms, right? The green histogram tells you the distribution of scores when the right answer is no, and the yellow histogram tells you the distribution when the right answer is yes. And we can think of these instead of thinking of these histograms, we can think about the distributions themselves. The green one is distribution A, which is there is no plane in the sky, and the red one is distribution B. There is a plane in the sky, and alarm should be blaring. So B for blaring. And so now you got the distributions of your scores, and then you can draw this yellow line which says say yes, there is a plane when you're to the right of the line, say no, there is no plane when you're to the left of the line. And now you can put those four error rates or those four rates we had from before onto this picture. So when you're in the green world, there is no plane in the sky, and you're on the left of the yellow line as well, which means you say no, there is no plane in the sky. That's a true negative, right? On the other hand, if you're on the right of the line, but you're in the world of the green distribution, then that's a false positive because you said yes, you were on the right of the line, but you were in the world of the green distribution, which means there was no plane in the sky, so you just wasted people's time, and that's a false positive. Similarly, you have the false negative rate and then the true positive rate. And now you can see why the true negative rate and false positive rate sum to 1, right? And you can conceptualize these as map these back to the confusion matrix we had earlier. Now you can think of plotting the two kinds of error rates, the false positive rate on the x-axis and the false negative rate on the y-axis. And you're getting some point here. Or what you can do is plot the false positive rate on the x-axis, but the true positive rate on the y-axis. And then as you move your threshold, right, this yellow threshold, let's say you're not happy with the error rates you're getting, you want slightly different error rates. So instead of saying positive when it's more than 0, you say positive when it's more than 1. And as you move this yellow threshold, decision threshold, to the right and left, you trace out these two curves, right? The curve on the bottom left is the error rate curve, and the curve on the bottom right, where you plot the false positive rate with the true positive rate, so everything to the right of the yellow line, this is actually called the receiver operating characteristics curve, or the ROC curve. And the area under this curve is the famous AU-ROC metric. So let's see what some extremes are for this metric. When the two distributions are very well separated, then the ROC curve ends up looking like a square. And then the area under this curve becomes 1 because it's a unit square. On the other hand, when these two distributions are very close to each other, that means your model doesn't have very good discriminative power. The radar gives you the same kind of distribution whether or not there's a plane in the sky. And so the area to the right of this line, whether the answer is yes or it's no, they're the same, right? And so you end up with a straight line, right? And then the ROC curve becomes a straight y equal to x straight line. And then the area under this becomes 0.5 because it's splitting the square into two equal parts, right? And the square is 1, area of the square is 1, and the area under this straight line is half. So the best possible AU-ROC is 1, and the worst possible is half. It's technically possible to get less than 0.5 AU-ROC, but then there's an easy fix when that happens, and we're going to get into that. Here we just visualize the different scenarios where you get the best possible and the worst possible ROC curve. Now, the AU-ROC has a very neat interpretation. It's the probability that a random positive sample, so a sample taken from distribution B, is larger than a random negative sample or a sample taken from distribution A. And there's a nice proof for this, very easy to follow, which is in a blog that I'm going to link in the description. I'm not going to go into the details here, but this is a very elegant proof, and it shows you, this nice probabilistic interpretation of the AU-ROC metric. What I am going to visually prove is that the AU-ROC has to be greater than or equal to 0.5. Right? To do that, let's think of the current strategy we have, which is we say yes whenever we're to the right of this line, and let's think of flipping the strategy. So we start saying yes when we're on the left of the line instead of the right. And what happens when we flip this strategy? What happens to our different rates? So first, let's think of the distribution A, which is, when there is no plane in the sky. Earlier, we were saying, yes, when we were to the right of the yellow line, and the false positive rate was the survival function of the distribution, which is the area to the right. Now, in the flipped strategy, we say, yes, when you're to the left of the line, and so the false positive rate also flips. It becomes the area to the left of the yellow line, which is the CDF of the distribution now, this cumulative density function, which is 1 minus the survival function. Similarly, for the B distribution, the radar readings when there is a plane in the sky, earlier the true positive rate, which was the y-axis of the ROC curve, was the area to the right of the distribution, which is the survival function of B. And now it becomes the area to the left, which is the cumulative density function, or 1 minus the survival function of B. So we have the AU ROC of the original strategy here, which is the survival function of B versus the survival function of A. And then we just said that the area under this, which is the red area, is the probability that A greater than B. And one thing you can notice right off the bat is that the area of the blue area here is the probability that B greater than A, because they both sum to the unit square, whose area is 1. Now we want to see what the ROC curve for the flipped strategy will be like. In other words, we want the plot of the CDF of B on the x-axis versus the CDF of A, right? CDF of B is 1 minus survival function of B and versus 1 minus survival function of A. We already have survival function of B versus survival function of A. We want 1 minus those, right? So first we go to minus survival function of B versus minus survival function of A. To do that, that's very simple. As we are drawing out the curve, we, for this, the positive counterparts, we draw the orange curve for the negative counterparts, and this gives us the curve for minus survival function of B versus minus survival function of A. But we want 1 minus survival function of B versus 1 minus survival function of A. So whenever you have a y-x plot, x versus y versus x plot, and you want to plot x plus A versus y plus B, you just move your origin to minus A comma minus B along with the whole, xy axis. And when you do that, you're plotting x plus A versus y plus B. So here, you want 1 minus survival function of A versus 1 minus survival function of B. So you just move this grid, the origin to minus 1 comma minus 1 in this way. And when you move it like this, then you get the ROC curve for the flipped strategy, right? And if you compare it with the earlier plot we had, you can see that this blue area here is the same as this blue area, for the original strategy. And both of these areas are probability that B greater than A. And this actually proves that the AU ROC can never be 0.5, because you can just flip the strategy when it is, right? Because the AU ROCs for the two strategies sum to 1. And if let's say you have an AU ROC of 0.4, you can just flip the strategy and get an AU ROC of 1 minus 0.4, which is 0.6, right? And this completes the proof. Now, here are some examples of cases where the AU ROC is 0.5, which is the worst possible metric you can get. Obviously, when the two distributions are exactly the same, that's the case, you get the ROC curve, which is a straight line. But there are other examples where it's not quite a straight line, but the area under it is still 0.5. And in all of these cases, the probability that distribution B is larger than distribution A is 0.5. Now, in the ROC curve, we plot the false positive versus true positive. Another curve we were looking at was the error rate curve, which was the false positive versus false negative, right? And just like the ROC curve has this nice interpretation of probability A greater than B for the area under it, the error rate curve also has a nice interpretation. The area under that is probability B greater than A. And in a similar manner, you can draw 8 such curves. You can kind of swap out these survivals with the CDFs, and you can flip A and B. And the areas under all of these curves have these, these interpretations. They are either probability A greater than B or probability B greater than A. And I'm going to link the blog in the description that that has this picture if you want to review these other kind of curves. Maybe you can put your name to one of them. That's it. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you found it useful.